Good morning, everyone. This is Attorney Ahmad Yakzan from American Dream Law Office, calling you to on our first of two live sessions for this weekend. We're going live on Mondays in English and in Arabic on Wednesdays at the same time at 11 o'clock. Um, I'm a couple of minutes late today, but we're gonna be on for 30 minutes at the very least. We have um, we have a bunch of questions um, this week, and I will talk about a couple of things that we got from people, a couple of questions that we got from people. And if you have any questions, I would really appreciate it if you drop them in our chat. We're on TikTok, Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, and all the other social media networks. If you would like to follow us, we have the same handle on all of them. It's American Dream Law Office at American Dream Law Office. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all the other socials, we have the same handle, which is American Dream Law Office at American Dream Law Office. Also, if you go to my profiles, the profiles all have um, our link tree where you can actually learn more about our office, and you can also um, get to get some to schedule an appointment with me if you would like to speak to me. We do have paid consultations. Our paid consultation, if you call us and book it on the first phone call, is $125. So if you want to and you get 30 minutes of a real consultation with me where we delve into all of your legal questions that you have, and I will give you the best um, answers that you would like to get. So give me a call. The number is 888-963-7326 if you have any questions. If you're trying to reach us from outside the United States, our WhatsApp number is +1-727-301-9328. And if you want to see us on the internet, it's www.americandream.law. Again, this is our English session for the week, and we're going to have a Spanish, an Arabic session on Wednesday at the same time. If you are joining us from the Middle East, please give us a call. Now, the first thing that I want to say, I brought my mom here 2 weeks ago, and as soon as I brought her, unfortunately, there is um, a war in Lebanon right now. I don't know if you guys are following the news. I would really appreciate if you guys keep my family and everyone in my family in your prayers and thoughts. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've been in the country for 26 years. I grew up in a civil war myself, and I saw a lot of invasions by Israel of Lebanon, and I think we're preparing for a ground invasion at this point. But if you have relatives in the Middle East and Israel and in Lebanon, I'm really sorry. And if you lost anybody, I'm really sorry. I know we're here every single day, and yesterday my brothers and my sister had to flee the house because there was a rumor that that they're going to get bombed, and thank God that did not happen. And I promise you, I don't miss having to run away from shelter to shelter. I had to do it through all of my childhood, and that's why I absolutely love being here in the United States, and I love helping other people come here to the United States. So if your dream is to come here to the United States, we will find a way to bring you here. Again, the link in my profile has all of the particulars, has a link for you to schedule a consultation with me. So if you want to call us and get in touch with us, I would really appreciate it if you do. As I said, we do have a consultation fee, which is $125. And I promise you, the $125 for the consultation fee is very low. I've seen people charge $300 and $400. I don't do that. I will give you a half hour of my time for $125 if you book it on the same time that you call us, on the first time that you call us. We do have a bunch of questions. There are a couple of things that are related to the conflict in the Middle East. If you are Palestinian here in the United States, President Biden signed a type of protection for Palestinians in the United States who cannot go back to Gaza or to their country. And that will allow you to get some protection from removal from the United States, and allows you to get a work permit. So if you have anybody who's in the United States who's been here for a while, there is a protection for Palestinians now in the United States. Unfortunately, that hasn't been expanded to Lebanese people here in the United States yet. But I believe there is a push to actually get it done. So we'll see. We'll see if President Biden signs something, and I hope he does. It's only been a couple of weeks of war at this point, and heavy war. So I don't know if President Biden will sign something to protect Lebanese people. I know we have a lot of Lebanese people here in the United States. So if President Biden is listening, we would really appreciate that protection for Lebanese people who cannot go back to their countries. On TikTok, our goal today is 1,000 hearts. If you're following us on TikTok, I would really appreciate some hearts and some likes and some follows. Thank you so much. All right. So the first question that I have is, I am currently illegal. I'm being threatened by 2 people that are going to call ICE on me and hurt me and my family. Is there any possibility to apply for something to gain status? There is a bunch of ways to get status, but let me explain a couple of things as an answer to this question. First of all, if you're here as an undocumented immigrant, even if people call ICE on you, if you are not what's called an enforcement priority, the chances that ICE is going to come and get you are very low. Now, what's an enforcement priority? Enforcement priority is anybody with a criminal record who is here without status. Depending on the level of offense that you have on your record, criminal conviction or anything like that, ICE might be interested in coming to you and actually put your removal proceedings. If you're an enforcement priority, as I said, put you in removal proceedings or let you go. Now, a lot of municipalities here in the United States have what's called an agreement, a memorandum of understanding with ICE, that they will host immigrants who are without status who got arrested, and it's called a 221G agreement between the sheriff department and ICE. And when you get arrested here in the United States, what's going to happen is that ICE is going to get a notification that they arrested you and you do not have any status, and then ICE will get a notification, and they have 3 days to decide whether they want to keep you in custody or they want to let you go. So again, if you're not an enforcement priority, then you would actually be let go. And I have a lot of people whom I represent, and I went all the way to the jail, and then within 2 to 3 days they were let go, because again, it's a low level offense that you got arrested for. So this person who's getting ICE called on him will have some way of getting out of the United States, even if again, the estimate is we have between 16 and 20 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. If ICE put everybody in jail, they will not be able to handle it. So again, those enforcement priorities come into play for that question. Now, the last part of that question is, can I do anything for me to stay in the country? And there are a couple of things that you can do. Unfortunately, they're very limited. There is something called the U visa, for example, that if you've been a victim of a crime, for example, you will be able to apply for a visa here in the United States. So if these people who are saying that we're going to call ICE on you are trying to extort you or ask you for money, and they would not call ICE on you if they're trying to extort money from you, then you will be able to probably get a U visa, and you have to prove several things for you to qualify for the U visa. So again, if that person is being threatened with extortion or anything like that, there might be something for us to do and apply for what's called a U visa. Again, just because you were put in removal proceedings doesn't mean you're going to get kicked out of the United States right away. There's a couple of things that we can do. We can defend you in removal proceedings, even if you are actually placed in removal proceedings. Doesn't mean that you're going to get deported tomorrow, unless you already have a removal order and the government would try to enforce that removal order against you right away. Again, if you want to call us, if you're in removal proceedings or you're getting threatened like this person, call us. The number is 888-963-7326. Or if you're calling us from outside the United States, the WhatsApp number is +1-727-3019-328. And if you are on TikTok, please don't ask to join me as a guest on this. On TikTok, I usually don't do that. If you do have a question, post it on the chat, and I will see if I can get to it. Thank you. All right. The next question that we have is, I am here on an employment visa. I recently got married to a U.S. citizen. Can I continue the process through my marriage? Absolutely. So there are a couple of things that we have to mention for this question. There are some employment visas that don't allow you to actually adjust your status, and I will discuss that with I will discuss that in a second. But if you are following us on any of the socials, I would really appreciate if you share our live so we can have people and can help as many people as possible with this. So this person is on a visa, on an employment visa, and they got married to a United States citizen. That happens. People fall in love all the time, and they want to apply for a visa for here in the United States, for a green card, not a visa, for permanent residence in the United States based on marriage. So we do have a couple of things to watch out for. The first thing to watch out for. The first thing to watch out for is that you have to have a visa that allows for what's called immigrant intent. So, for example, the H-1B visa allows you to have dual intent, meaning that you will be here in the United States on a work visa, but it also allows you to apply for permanent residence if you and that allows you to actually stay in the United States permanently. So if you have an H-1B, that allows for dual intent, but not a lot of non-immigrant visas allow for immigrant intent. So if you are here on an H-1B, for example, or an L-1 visa, you're okay because they allow for immigrant intent. The problem is that if you do have other visas other than the H-1B and the L-1, you're going to have an issue. There might be a misrepresentation ground for inadmissibility if you are here in the United States on a different visa. For example, when you applied for the visa and you didn't tell them that you want to immigrate to the United States, which is a problem even when you apply for the visa. But if there was some sort of misrepresentation when you applied for the visa, it's going to be an issue. So there is an issue with that. The second issue that you have is, for example, an employment visa called a J-1 visa. It's an exchange visa. Some J-1 visa applicants have what's called a 2-year residency requirement, meaning that if they are here in the United States, they're going to come here, do what they're supposed to here in the United States, and they have to return to their country for 2 years. Now, there are some exceptions to that, but if you are under one of those visas and you have the 2-year residency requirement, then you will not be able to adjust your status without having a waiver of that 2-year residency requirements. And there are some changes on the policy that allows you to actually serve those 2 years in a third country, or in some instances in the United States. So you don't actually have to leave the country to be able to stay here in the United States and get permanent residence. So that's a very good question. And that means that you are allowed to apply for an immigrant visa or permanent residence in the United States, even though you're here on an employment visa. The last thing that I will say is that some of those visas actually allow you to apply for a green card under a very high preference, like an L1 visa, for example, allows you to apply in some instances for a green card under the EB1 category, and allows you to stay in the United States, apply for permanent residence. So you don't have to necessarily go through the marriage route. but you can actually self-petition for a green card in some of those instances. So if you have a work visa in the United States, you can absolutely get permanent residence in the United States. Just call us and I'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. Again, 888-963-7326. We got a question on TikTok. The question was, if someone applied for the 131F, which is President Biden parole in place, and got the fingerprints and the biometrics taken, can they now apply for a green card? Unfortunately, no. Just taking your fingerprints and your picture doesn't mean that the I-131F was actually granted. That just means that they're doing a background check on you. The other thing that you have to worry about is there is an injunction against the government now from adjudicating those petitions, meaning that they can actually accept them. Excuse me, guys. They can actually accept them, but they're not allowed to. They are not allowed to adjudicate them, and they're not allowed to actually give you parole in place at this point. There is some litigation with that, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that litigation. I have a lot of clients that we applied for the I-131F4, and unfortunately we're in limbo right now. We can't really do anything for them. So we're just waiting on that litigation to see what happens to it. Again, you're on TikTok. I have a goal of 500 hearts today. So I would really appreciate if you're watching us on TikTok. We have a lot of people watching us on TikTok. If you can drop some hearts, I would really appreciate it. All right, the next question that I have is, my son is here on a student visa. I'm a green card holder. Can I adjust his status? We discussed this question on last Wednesday on the Arabic on the Arabic live, but I want to discuss it again because my staff put it on my list again. The question is, can I apply for my son who's on a student visa if I'm a green card holder? Now, we discussed this, as I said last week. Yes, you can. The problem is, if you are a green card holder, there are two things that you have to watch out for. Number one is you have to be in status at the time when the visa number becomes available, meaning that if you are related to a green card petitioner and your number becomes available, you have to be in status at the time when the green card is getting issued. So you cannot be out of status at the time when the green card is getting issued. Number two, if your petitioner is a green card holder, you also have to wait for a visa number to become available. So let me explain what that means. That means if you are here in the United States and a green card holder applies for you, what's going to happen is, let's say we actually someone applies for you on September 30th, 2024. Right now they're working on 2022 or 2023 cases. If you're in the preference category that is where they're working on 2023 cases right now, you have to wait for people who applied between the date that they're working on and today. You have to wait for these people to get their visa numbers, and then you will be able to apply for your green card. So if you are related to a green card holder, US green card holder, you're not allowed to apply for a green card until that number actually becomes available. That visa number becomes available. Now, we were able to actually apply for someone's a green card right away because the petitioner was actually a green card holder, but they actually were able to get a U.S. citizenship. So what we do is apply for their U.S. citizenship and then see if the preference changes. And if their son is under 21 years old, we were able to actually adjust their status that way. So if you do have a green card petitioner, talk to us, see if your petitioner actually is allowed to get their citizenship right away, and we will be able to actually apply for the beneficiary's green card right away. So the next question that we have is, I'm a U.S. citizen planning to get married to a non-citizen. Is it better to get married here in the U.S. or in the country where she is from? Um, so I always say, if you're here in the United States, it's much better for you to apply for someone outside the United, if they're outside the United States. So this actually relates to marriage here in the United States or overseas. So let me answer this in this way. So if you are getting married to someone and you would like to apply for their status, for their permanent residence status, you only need a legal marriage anywhere in the United States. As long as it is a legal marriage anywhere in the world, you are okay to use that for a permanent residence for someone. So what does that mean? I am engaged to someone who's overseas. I go get married in their country, in, let's say, Lebanon, for example. As long as that marriage is legal in Lebanon, it doesn't matter where you get married in the world, you can actually apply for their green card. That's not a problem. So as long as you have a legal marriage anywhere in the world, you're fine to apply for a green card for anybody who's a petitioner. Now, the second issue, and I think this is what the questioner was actually asking, is it better to apply for someone's green card here in the United States or overseas? The petitioner is a United States citizen here, so we don't have to worry about visa numbers being available or anything. As long as they are a spouse of a US citizen, that means they have immediate availability for the visa number. They can apply for the green card and they don't have to wait for the visa number to become available. So we don't have to worry about that. So I always tell people that if your beneficiary is here in the United States and they made a legal entry into the United States, it's always better to apply for their green card here in the United States, not overseas. And that's for a couple of reasons. The most important one, though, is doing it outside the United States takes a lot of time, a lot more time than if you actually do it while they're here in the United States. So if your beneficiary is here in the United States and they made a legal entry into the United States and they're married to a U.S. citizen, you probably want to apply for their green card here in the United States. You don't do it while they're overseas. Hopefully that answered the question. So the next question that I have: after a denial of a visitor visa, what other options do I have? Let me tell you guys, and honestly, this is very, very important to say, that there are a lot of scammers overseas that apply for a visitor visa for you, make your money, and you don't have a prayer to actually get the green card. To get the visitor visa, because of your background, because there are a lot of things that people don't understand that the U.S. government uh, has access to, that lead them to deny you a visitor visa. So if you are from a country with a lot of recidivism rates, for example, a lot of people come from your country, the United States, and stay without status afterwards, and you're in a certain age group, you don't have any connections to your country, you don't have any money, you don't have any real estate holdings, you don't have anything that actually anchors you to your country, the chances of you getting a visitor visa are very low. So that doesn't mean that if you have these things, doesn't mean that you're not going to get a a visitor visa. It's just going to make it much harder to get a visitor visa to actually come to the United States. And that's why I would say, don't hire any Joe Schmo to help you apply for a visitor visa. Hire someone like me, like an attorney that would, and I would be very honest with you from the beginning. If you're not going to get a visitor visa, I'm going to tell you that from the very beginning. um, but if you do have other ways to come here to the United States, I will also tell you, because I would rather you pay me for something that's going to actually work than something that's going to not get accepted, or you're going to have. I can't guarantee any of the results in the United States, but I will know which which visas you're going to qualify for. I would tell you that if you have the means to apply for an investor visa, for example, that is a much option than applying for a visitor visa. And an investor visa doesn't mean that you're going to come here and live here in the United States for good. Um, if you don't want to, it just means that you will be running a, a a business here in the United States that you invested your money in. You can hire someone else to run the business, but as long as you're an executive controlling the business itself, then you should be okay coming to the United States. So there are a lot of better ways to come here to the United States than a visitor visa. Just let me know. I would say is, if you get denied a visitor visa, call me. There are some things that we can do. There are other options other than investment visas and visitor visas. You can come here for business on a visitor visa. So if you're coming here and you told me I'm coming here for tourism, but you're really coming here to look for a business, that also allows you to come into the United States for a business classification under the visitor visa, because you're allowed to come and look at businesses to buy here in the United States. So depending on the reason why you're coming here to the United States, we do have a lot of options. We can get you here on a student visa. We can get you on an investment visa. We can get you on a lot of things that will actually have a better chance of you coming here to the United States than a visitor visa just by itself. I'm not understanding the questions that someone just asked on TikTok. Please don't put any personal information or any personal things. Don't ask any personal questions. If you do have a question like this, and this is a very complicated question, call me at 888-963-7326. Please call me, and so we can discuss your case, and I will look at. You're telling me what's my chances to be approved. I honestly have no idea. Call me and I'll be more than happy to discuss your case. Again, the 888-963-7326, or go to my socials. My link tree actually has a link for you to schedule an appointment with me, a consultation with me. We do have $125 consultation fee. So just please watch out for that. You do have to pay in advance to get scheduled with me. So if you ask that question on TikTok, please call me and schedule an appointment so I can get more information from you and discuss your case in more detail, for me to know what you have going on, and see if I can help you or not. Someone just asked, is me and my wife have 42 years age difference. Would there be an issue for a spousal visa? Age by itself is not enough to actually have an issue for a spousal visa. You do have to prove that you have a real marriage. Just because there is a huge there is there just because there is a huge age difference between two people, it doesn't matter really. That you do still have to prove the bona fides of your marriage. You do have to prove a lot of things. It's that would be the determination would not only be on the age. um, the there are other factors that you have to actually look into, and you have to prove that your marriage is bona fide for you to be able to actually apply for the uh, for the visa. That's one of the five fraud detectors, but it's not really if a one thing that it's not going to do to do everything for you, and the spousal visa is not going to get denied just because you have a huge age difference. Again, please don't ask any specific questions about your case. That person just asked another question. Please call me and talk to me about your case, so I will be able to help you more. The next question that I have is, what other options do I have other after what other options do I have after getting a denial for a student visa? Again, just like I spoke about when speaking about the denials for a visitor visa. The visitor visa is the same as the non-immigrant visa that we're talking, the student visa that we're talking about. So give me a call and I'll be more than happy to discuss your options and see what I can do for you. Again, the E2 is a very good option for you to come here if you get denied a student visa, and we'll be able to do something for you. We're coming close to our close time here. We have 10 seconds left. Again, if you still have a question, The best way to get in touch with me is 888-963-7326. The other way to get in touch with me is call us on WhatsApp, which is +1 727 3019 328. You can also go to our website, which is americandream.law, or get in touch with us on the website. We do have a good website. It's in English and in Spanish. Get in touch with us on the website, and we'll be more than happy to help. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, I forgot to mention, we do have the Linktree link on my profile. Click on that, and you'll be able to actually get you'll be able to schedule an appointment with me. Again, call us. I will be more than happy to discuss your case with you. Get in touch with us on WhatsApp, and I will see you on Wednesday for the Arabic podcast. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Have a great week, and let me know if it can help you with anything. Take care.